Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join us as we explore the rugged landscapes, uncover hidden historical gems, and dive deep into the rich legends and culture of this iconic region. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Please leave a like or comment. This is very helpful. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Welcome to Southwest Desert. I'm your host, Alan. Today we're diving deep into a tale that spans nearly half a century in California's Coachella Valley, a story of lost gold, broken dreams, and a mysterious mine that has captivated treasure hunters for generations. This is the story of the Desert Queen Mine. The year was 1888, and the American West was still very much wild. The desert settlements of Southern California were little more than scattered outposts, connected by sandy trails and the dreams of fortune seekers. Among these dreamers was a young man from New York, whose name has been lost to history, but whose story would become legend in the sun-baked canyons of the Santa Rosa Mountains. Picture, if you will, the bustling streets of San Bernardino in the late 19th century. Our New Yorker, probably no more than 25 years old, was outfitting himself for what he hoped would be the adventure of a lifetime. He purchased supplies, tools, and several sturdy burros to carry his equipment. His goal? To strike it rich in the unexplored canyons of the Coachella Valley. For months, this determined prospector combed the rugged terrain of Southern California's most challenging mountain ranges. His journey took him through the towering San Bernardino Mountains, where ancient pines stood sentinel over rocky slopes. He crossed into the dramatic San Jacinto Range, its peaks rising like fortress walls above the desert floor. Finally, his search led him into the Santa Rosa Mountains, where fate awaited in the form of a promising outcrop of ore. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest adventure. If you would like to help support my channel and time, hit the super thanks heart icon on the bottom of the video and contribute. This is very helpful. Relax and enjoy. The journey to his claim was arduous, even by frontier standards. From his supply base in Banning, a tiny settlement in the San Gorgonio Pass, it was a grueling 3-day journey with his loaded burros. The trail wound through what would later become Palm Springs, then little more than a handful of crude shacks scattered across the desert sand. 6 miles further southeast lay Cathedral Canyon, where today stands the modern city of Cathedral City. The prospector's ingenuity showed in his choice of route. He created an intricate switchback trail up the eastern wall of Cathedral Canyon, leading several miles to his claim. But here's where the story takes an interesting turn. He never officially recorded his Desert Queen Mine. You see, the county seat at that time was in San Diego, a treacherous journey over the coastal mountains that would have taken weeks away from his work. Riverside County wouldn't be established for many years to come. So our New Yorker worked his claim in splendid isolation, far from prying eyes and competing prospectors. Day after day, he extracted ore from the tunnel he'd carved into the mountain. A substantial dump of tailings grew outside the mine entrance, evidence of his tireless labor. The ore was rich with what miners called peacock ore, copper-bearing rock that shimmered with iridescent blues and greens. But more importantly, it contained gold, enough to keep him working through the brutal desert seasons. Then fate intervened. Word arrived from back east. What exactly happened has been lost to time, but personal obligations forced him to return home. Perhaps it was an ailing parent, a family business in crisis, or maybe even a romance left behind. Whatever the reason, it proved permanent. Our prospector never returned to his beloved Desert Queen, though the dream of its riches would haunt him for the rest of his life. On his deathbed, he passed on 2 things to a relative: a crude map of the mine's location and specific details that would later prove crucial. Inside the tunnel, he said, would be found a folding pick and a wooden wheelbarrow with iron wheels. These seemingly mundane items would become key identifiers in the mine's rediscovery decades later. The story might have ended there, lost to time like so many other tales of desert gold. But in 1928, just as Cathedral City was being established as a proper town, two local cowboys decided to go exploring. Wilbur "Slim" Larison and Charlie Crunkleton were riding their horses up Cathedral Canyon one day when they noticed something unusual, a faint trail leading up the eastern wall. Being adventurous sorts, they urged their sure-footed horses up the almost obliterated path. Suddenly, they found themselves standing before the entrance to an old mine. Inside, just as the dying New Yorker had described years before, lay a folding pick and a wooden wheelbarrow with iron wheels. But Slim and Charlie, having seen countless old prospect holes in their travels, didn't realize the significance of their discovery. They spent a few minutes exploring, then rode back to town, the incident soon forgotten. Several years later, fate played another hand in the Desert Queen story. Slim found himself camping in the Devil's Garden area, listening to an old prospector named G.R. Hicks tell a curious tale. Hicks spoke of a stranger whose car had broken down near his cabin in Morongo Valley. While making repairs, the man had shown Hicks a map he'd inherited from his father, who had received it from a dying relative in New York. The stranger had spent weary months searching for the mine, with Hicks joining in the hunt. But the map was too sketchy, the landscape too vast and unchanging. Eventually, the Easterner gave up and returned home, adding another layer of frustration to the Desert Queen's legacy. As Hicks described the folding pick and wheelbarrow mentioned in the stranger's story, Slim's memory sparked to life. He realized he and Charlie had stumbled upon the very mine this map was meant to locate. The coincidence was extraordinary. What were the odds that the same unique implements would be found in two different mines? Excited by the possibility of hidden riches, Hicks and Larison rushed to Cathedral Canyon. They found the mine exactly where Slim remembered it, but here's where our story takes its final bittersweet turn. When they had the ore assayed, it proved to be quite ordinary, not worth the effort of mining at all. The mystery of the Desert Queen's vanished riches has never been solved. What happened to the rich ore the New Yorker had discovered? Had he already extracted all the valuable minerals? Or was this perhaps not the same mine at all? We'll never know for certain. The claim was later relocated by a group of local Indians who worked it briefly as the Eloisa mine, but they too found it unprofitable. Today, the only reminder of the Desert Queen mine's existence is the beautiful peacock ore that still lies scattered on the abandoned dump. These iridescent specimens, while lacking in gold content, have found a different kind of value. They now decorate the rock gardens and cactus beds of Cathedral City homes, silent testimonies to one man's dreams of striking it rich in the American West. The story of the Desert Queen mine embodies so much of what makes the American West fascinating. The promise of instant wealth, the harsh realities of desert prospecting, the mysterious disappearance of riches, and the transformation of failure into an unexpected kind of success. While the mine never produced the fortune its discoverer hoped for, it has enriched the region's folklore and given us a window into the lives of those brave souls who sought their fortunes in these unforgiving mountains. Consider the landscape today. Cathedral City has grown from those few scattered shacks into a thriving desert community. The switchback trail our New Yorker carved into the canyon wall has mostly eroded away, though keen eyes might still spot traces. The peacock ore that once promised riches now serves as garden decoration, its iridescent colors catching the desert sun just as they did when our prospector first spotted that promising outcrop so many years ago. The Desert Queen Mine stands as a testament to the dreamers and fortune seekers who shaped the American West. Its story reminds us that value isn't always measured in gold. Sometimes it's found in the tales we tell, the mysteries we ponder, and the dreams we chase across the desert sands. Before we end today's episode, let's ponder one final question. What if the real Desert Queen mine still lies undiscovered in those sun-baked canyons? What if the mine Slim and Charlie found was just another prospector's failed dream? The Santa Rosa Mountains keep their secrets well, and somewhere in those twisted canyons, perhaps the true Desert Queen still waits to be found. This has been Southwest Desert. I am your host, Alan, reminding you that sometimes the real treasure isn't what's buried in the ground, but the stories that survive to tell the tale. Please check out my large catalog of Southwest videos on historical stories, lost treasure stories, and adult bedtime stories. Happy trails! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.